I'm Ishita, and this is Eunoia. You know those mornings where you wake up and your brain's already halfway into the day, but your body is like, wait, just 5 more minutes. That's how most of us treat our workouts. We are either skipping them or sprinting through them. And neither really works. Trust me, I have tried to do both. Because my body still remembers what it was like when I was younger, more active, faster, lighter. And that memory, it plays tricks. It tells me I should still be able to do what I did years ago. So I push for instant performance, instant results, instant energy. But the truth is, that's not how the body works. It's not a machine, though it behaves like one. Think of a ceiling fan. When you switch it on, it doesn't start spinning at full speed immediately. It takes a few turns to gather rhythm, to find its flow. Our bodies are the same. Somewhere between I'll stretch later and I'm already late, so forget about the warming up. We forget that warming up isn't optional, it's essential no matter the time of day. So, in today's episode, why warm ups matter, the science of showing up slowly. We will unpack one, why warm ups matter, two, how our body and mind actually change when we don't skip them, and three, the tiny invisible moments that turn preparation into confidence. So, why did I decide to talk about warm ups? Because for the longest time, I thought they were just optional. When I used to work out alone, I figured a quick walk on the treadmill was enough. But skipping them again and again taught me more about my body than any workout plan ever did. I realized that warm ups aren't just a before thing, they are the body's way of saying, hey, I'm waking up. That slow, steady movement isn't wasted time. It's our body logging in, syncing, and preparing itself. Because you can't just roll out of the bed and run a marathon. Your body needs a hello first. When you start moving slowly, your heart rate rises, sending oxygen rich blood to your muscles. Your core temperature increases by 1 to 2 degrees Celsius, making muscle fibers up to 20% more elastic. That's real data from sports physiology studies. It's like switching your system from sleep mode to let's do this. Think of the times we store leftovers, tie them with a rubber band, and keep it in the fridge, and open them the next day. And while opening it, snap, that band breaks. Why? Because rubber loses elasticity when it's cold. Now, our muscles are very similar to that. Without the warmth, they resist stretch. But once they are awake, everything within the body flows better. That's why warming up isn't about burning calories, it's about building communication between our minds and our muscles. And the funny thing, those small invisible minutes changed how I saw movement. When I joined Stride Run Club, I'll be honest, warm ups felt like the pre show no one cared about. At times when I would show up late, I would just jog or, just do like a minimum 20 seconds and wait for the actual run to start. But moving with the group regularly, week after week, taught me something important. These first 10 to 15 minutes, the stretches became my favorite part because the walk afterward felt more peaceful and grounded compared to when I just started walking straight away. At first, I was just copying what everyone else did. Then one day during mid hip rotation, I had this like oho moment, like when you suddenly feel that sweet pain that feels good to stretch. That consistency, that community, it gave me the confidence. Now, even when I walk alone, I know how to listen, which muscle feels tight, which one feels sluggish, which one's ready to go. And if I'm unsure, I don't hesitate to ask. That's when I realized those 10 minutes weren't a chore. They were a conversation between my body and the day, between how I felt and how I wanted to move. But what technically happens when we say hello to our body through a warm up? Have you ever heard of synovial fluid? It's basically a fluid in our joints. It works as a natural lubricant. The fluid that helps bones give smoothly instead of grinding against each other. When you warm up, synovial fluid production increases, reducing joint friction and risk of injury. Our nervous system also activates, improving coordination and balance by around 10%, according to sports research. And our reaction times also sharpen because warmed up muscles send signal faster than the cold ones. And here's a fun fact. According to a study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research, athletes who skipped warm ups have a 30 to 40% higher risk in muscle strain or joint injury. That's not dramatic, that's data. A proper warm up also improves our neuromuscular coordination. Basically, how our brain talks to our muscles. Think of it like switching from 3G to 5G before a big task. And here's where it gets personal. Warm up needs aren't one size fits all. If you're lean or have lower body fat, your body heats up faster, but also tends to cool down faster. If you're heavier like me, so your joints and connective tissues like take longer to loosen up. So your warm up should be slightly longer and lower intensity to protect from strain. For older adults, the warm up phase isn't optional. It's how your body reminds your muscles what movement feels like. So, yeah, 5 minutes of warm up isn't a luxury, it's an insurance. It's how we teach our body to move safely again. And that rhythm I built at Stride. That trust made me curious to understand what was really happening within my own body. Every rep, every strength had a reason. And that's where the science met the intuition. Now, there are two types of broad warm ups. One is a general warm up movements that get your whole body going, like jogging, high knees, skipping, or jumping jack. Even 5 to 7 minutes of this can increase oxygen delivery up to 50%. Then come targeted warm ups, where you mimic the exact movement you're about to perform, just slower, lighter, and more controlled. For example, the day's focus is for running. So you should focus more on hips, glutes, and ankles exercises. But don't skip your upper body because even to run, your arms drive your momentum, your core stabilizes your frame, and your shoulders balance your rhythm. Our body doesn't move in parts, it moves as an orchestra as a whole. So you have to train accordingly. Even at Stride, we usually start with dynamic stretches, followed by plyometric activities to get the blood pumping before our social runs. But here's something many forget. If you hold a stretch too long before activity, you might actually inhibit movement. Static stretching pre run can reduce power output temporarily. So, yes, you warm up differently depending on what you're doing, but the whole body deserves a hello. Because warm ups aren't about what you're doing next, they're preparing the whole you to do it better. And then here's the part nobody talks about, the mental warm up. Movement releases dopamine and norepinephrine, the chemicals that improve focus and motivation. So that 5 minute warm up actually primes your brain to stay consistent. Skipping warm ups isn't just a body problem, it's a focus problem. You're basically starting a task without telling your brain that we are going to do this now. So if you ever feel disconnected mid run or distracted at the gym, maybe your body showed up before your mind did. And the more I think about it, we already understand these because we see it in our everyday life as well. We preheat ovens before baking, we idle our cars before driving. It takes time for the ignition to start. We even wait for our laptops to boot up before opening the tabs or whatever we want to do, right? However, we somehow expect our bodies to start at full speed immediately. We expect instant ignition when what we really need is a gradual awakening. Whether it's our day, our run, or our next big idea, everything needs a warm up. So the next time you start your workout or your morning, don't rush into it. Those first few minutes, they are not wasted time. They are an investment in your performance. The best athletes don't warm up because they're weak. They warm up because they understand the rhythm. Because between rest and performance, there's a small hum, and that's where energy becomes power. And if you ever see me at Stride Run Club warm up, I'm probably having that moment that, oh, that's the muscle it's targeting. But remember, strength doesn't start with speed, it starts with awareness. If this episode made you pause before your next run or workout, or you know someone who skips their warm up, share this with them. And maybe remind them even rocket engines need a countdown before the boosters fire up. That's all for today's Gyan. I'm Ishita. This is Eunoia, where the body, the mind, and the everyday meets. Bye.